Hey, church girl, can I ask you something honestly? Have you ever looked like you had everything together on the outside, while inside you felt exhausted from carrying things nobody knew about? Many women know exactly what that experience feels like. You show up in church, you pray for others, you encourage people when they are discouraged. And from the outside, people see a woman who is strong, dependable, and spiritually grounded. But when the day is over and the house quiets down, there are moments when you feel a kind of tiredness that sleep cannot fix. It is not simply physical fatigue. It is emotional exhaustion and spiritual weariness from holding together pressures that very few people know you are carrying. And many women, Christian women, have quietly mastered the art of appearing strong while internally struggling under the weight of expectations, responsibilities, and silent pain. What makes this particularly difficult is that much of the pressure they carry is not pressure that God ever placed on them. So instead, it is pressure that has grown from cultural expectations, personal fears, environments, church environments, and the belief that a faithful Christian woman should never reveal she is overwhelmed. So today is International Women's Day, and while the day often celebrates women's accomplishments and resilience, I want to take a different approach in this conversation. Rather than only celebrating strength, I want to encourage to acknowledge the hidden burdens many women carry every day. So in this video, I want to talk about five, let me use the right hand, 5 burdens that Christian women carry and how those pressures slowly begin to erode their peace, their joy, and sometimes their relationships. So if you are new here, welcome. I'm Dr. Brenda Mouzon, and this channel is part of the Church Girl Heal movement. My work centers on helping Christian women have honest conversations about emotional and spiritual struggles that are often ignored or hidden within church spaces. Many women love God deeply and remain committed to their faith, yet they often feel alone in the battles they are facing internally. And over the years, I have spoken with many women who serve faithfully in their churches and families, but privately feel overwhelmed and unseen or emotionally drained. They are not trying to abandon their faith or their responsibilities. What they are longing for is relief from pressures they were never meant to carry alone. So today, I want to walk through 5 of those pressures that quietly shape the emotional lives of many Christian women. Pressure 1, the pressure to always be strong. One of the most celebrated identities in many church communities is the identity of the strong woman. The strength is admired. This is where there is certainly nothing wrong with admiring strength. However, when strength becomes the only acceptable way a woman is allowed to appear, it can slowly turn into emotional isolation. Women who are constantly praised for being strong often begin to feel that vulnerability is not welcome. So as a result, many women continue serving, smiling, and encouraging others while quietly suppressing their own emotional needs. What begins as strength eventually becomes loneliness. The woman who everyone depends on may begin to feel that she has no safe place to admit that she herself is struggling. You know, scripture shows us that strength in God has never meant to eliminate honesty. Throughout the Bible, we see faithful people expressing grief, fear, and confusion before God. David, who is described as a man after God's own heart, wrote many psalms that openly express pain and frustration. His honesty did not make him weak. It revealed that he needed God more. Number 2, the pressure to keep marriages looking perfect. Yes, I went there. Another pressure many Christian women experience is the expectations that their marriages must appear stable and harmonious at all times. Marriage is often represented in church as a testimony of faithfulness and blessing. While marriage can indeed be beautiful, many couples experience seasons of distance, misunderstanding, or emotional strain. Unfortunately, many women feel that admitting those struggles would make their marriage appear spiritually weak or unsuccessful. So what happens? Some women work very hard to maintain the appearance of a perfect relationship. They smile in public, celebrate anniversaries online, and present an image of unity even when they feel lonely inside the relationship. Sis, God cares far more about truth than appearances. Healing within a marriage begins with honesty and humility. When couples feel free to acknowledge their struggles without fear of judgment, they create the possibility for restoration and deeper connection. 3, the pressure to serve without rest. That's a big one. Many Christian women are deeply connected or committed to serving others. They organize church activities, mentor younger women, teach classes, volunteer community events, and support family members who need help. They are willing to serve, and their willingness becomes a moment where people admire them. When service becomes constant and rest disappears, the result often is burnout. And some women feel that saying no to a request would make them appear selfish or uncommitted. I've been there. This was me. Others feel responsible ensuring that ministries and their programs continue smoothly, but over time they may find themselves constantly busy and internally depleted. You know, the example of Jesus reminds us that rest is not a sign of weakness. Throughout the Gospels, we see Jesus stepping away from crowds in order to pray, to reflect, and to restore his strength. So if you're listening to this and quietly thinking, that sounds like me, stay with me, because the next 2 pressures are the ones many women almost never talk about. So pressure 4, the pressure to stay silent about pain. Many Christian women carry personal wounds that remain largely unseen by others. These wounds may come from childhood experiences, difficult relationships, grief, betrayal, or disappointment. In some church environments, however, there is an unspoken expectation that believers should always speak in victorious language. So what happens? As a result, some women learn to hide their pain behind spiritual phrases and positive language. They affirm their faith publicly while privately feeling overwhelmed by unresolved emotions. Healing begins with truth, sis. Acknowledging pain does not diminish faith, but it strengthens it. It restores it. And number 5, the pressure to carry everyone else's emotional burden. I'm guilty. This final pressure many Christian women experience is the expectation that they will be the emotional support system for everyone around them. Women are often seen as natural caregivers and encouragers. Friends confide in them. Family members rely on their wisdom, and church members turn to them for comfort and prayer. While supporting others is a beautiful expression of love, it can become overwhelming when a woman feels responsible for carrying everyone else's needs, emotional needs. And guess what, sis? God never intended for any person to carry the emotional burdens of the entire world. Jesus already did that. Only God can sustain that responsibility. So, International Women's Day often highlights the resilience and accomplishments of women across the world. Those accomplishments deserve recognition. At the same time, it is also important to acknowledge the unseen struggles many women carry silently. So today, I want to speak directly to the woman who feels overwhelmed by responsibilities, expectations, and silent struggles. Hey, church girl, you do not have to carry this alone. You don't. God sees you. He sees the strength you have shown and the burdens you have carried. The pressures you have been carrying do not have to define your future, sis. Healing is possible and peace is possible. And if you have been quietly carrying these things no one around you seems to understand, this space was created for you. So if this conversation resonated with you, I invite you to share this video with another sis who might be going through the same thing and need encouragement today. You can also tell me in the comments which of these pressures you have experienced most in your life. If you would like more discussions about faith, emotional healing, and living honestly as a Christian woman, make sure you subscribe to this channel. Sis, you are not in this alone. This is Dr. Brenda Mouzon, and this has been Church Girl Heal. I look forward to seeing you in the next conversation. Until then, you are not alone, and if God didn't ask you to do this, you are not doing that anymore, okay?